We Brits are a nation of compulsive collectors. Across the country, there are storage units crammed with clutter, bulging barns, and jam-packed garages.
Wow, you got a lot of stuff, Dad.
Home to dreams.
I haven't seen that for so many years.
Memories.
So who did this belong to then?
And excess baggage. And we're drowning in it.
You've got some stuff in here, haven't you?
But among the debris and disorder,
Heavens above, I've never seen so many rings.
my mission is to uncover the stories,
They were your grandmother's.
Yeah.
find the hidden gems,
There's £1,000 there.
and turn the mess into money.
180, 190, 200.
Welcome to the world of Storage Hoarders.
Hello, I'm Aggie Mackenzie, and I'm here to clear the clutter of our slaves to storage.
Our first hoarder is retired insurance broker and part-time musician Nick Martin, along with his wife Elizabeth. Nick rented 2 storage units back in 2006. 7 years and nearly £12,000 later, he's still paying for them. But why rent the units in the first place?
My mother, who died back in November 2005, she had a lovely house in Esher. The house had to be cleared out. All the furniture was packed up. There was no possibility that we could house them all here.
Nick lives near Surbiton in Surrey, which lies on the River Thames and back in the 70s was famed as the location of the classic TV sitcom The Good Life. But their huge storage bill hasn't left Nick and Elizabeth laughing. And if this wasn't stressful enough, last year Nick was diagnosed with cancer.
It came as a shock. He's never been poorly, and then suddenly to go have some tests and find that there is a positive result, and then he had an operation, and then he had to recover.
Hopefully I'm on the right side of it. It was a bit of a wake-up call. The problem with the furniture in store should be addressed because none of us quite, well, I didn't quite know right exactly what's around the corner.
Now he's on the road to recovery, keen musician Nick wants to get his parents' hoard of furniture sorted once and for all. But after 8 years, it also means revisiting the past.
It will bring back a lot of emotive memories of a time I spent with my parents before they passed on, and to really refresh my memory of the nice things which we had in the house. So looking forward to it with just a modicum of maybe apprehension, as you can probably understand.
I do understand why he's got the furniture in storage, because when it was left to him, it was too emotional to even start dealing with it. There was too much of it to deal with, so it was easier just to put it in storage. But I think now he's ready to deal with it.
And Nick thinks the furniture could be worth big money when he finally opens the unit.
And I have a feeling the value quoted was about £61,000, depending on how much we get from any possible sale at auction. I would think it would be nice to pass on some of that to the children. You know, it'd be nice for them to have a little nest egg from the blue to buy some furniture for their house or whatever they wish to do with it.
Can I get Nick to clear out those units so he can put some money towards a good life for him and his family?
So let's get in. Nick, you look terrified.
I am, absolutely. I haven't seen it for so long.
Do you remember this?
Oh, yeah.
This is the music
yes,
piano stool, is it?
Yes, that's right. Yes, my music when I was a young chap.
What's it like seeing the piano
It's a
stool
lovely.
again?
It is. It brings a tear to my eye. It's a lovely piece, actually. It may even go back with us and replace the other one at home, but I don't know yet.
So this is the first thing that's out, and you say, I'm keeping it.
It went with the piano, which is buried somewhere in there.
There's a piano in here as well.
There is a piano somewhere.
Oh, this is the grandfather clock.
Without the
Grandfather clock. So is this a clock that you grew up with, Nick?
Well, it was always in the house, I think, since I was, It's missing.
There's a whole box of the face, and it's got a face with a sun and a moon on it.
Right, let's put it over here. So you'd be wanting to get rid of that, wouldn't you?
No. You don't think very much of it, then? Is it?
No, it's not that.
Not
It's
when
just
it's put together. It's
large piece
It's
of
a large
furniture.
piece.
I know, we're going to make room.
We're going to try and make room
Are
at
you?
home.
It's looking like we've got a bit of quality here. You know, the stuff's very,
Oh, it's very kind.
solid.
Yes,
and it looks
yes.
as if it's been in your family for many, many years.
Right.
And it's been looked after.
Yes. Now, what
That
have we
looks
got
like-
here?
Is that mahogany?
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's mahogany, isn't it?
So,
Well-
Nick, why have we got labels with your name on?
And when it was all
Yeah,
sorted
out, I
for,
think
for packing.
it will either have my name or my sister's on it, so it's
Right.
got mine, so there was no confusion.
And you ended up with a lot of furniture by the looks of things.
Yeah, I seem to have got the sort of the heavier bits, but not necessarily heavier, but yes, probably I have got the heavier bits. Yeah.
Well, let's hope I can help take at least some of the weight off Nick's shoulders.
I think we'll need help getting the big pieces in.
I think
so
you're absolutely
call in
right.
the heavy boys.
I could get the heavy brigade.
Yes,
I think you're
yeah.
absolutely
Why
right.
should we exert ourselves?
Well, this is true.
Our next hoarder-holic is pub landlord and part-time biker Mike Garnett and his wife Karen. Not content with cluttering up their flat above the bar, he's now commandeered the family's already bulging barn. But how did things get so bad?
I've collected and acquired a lot of things from when I was a kid, well, 4 or 5 years old, and I always was told not to throw stuff away and put stuff back in boxes, and that's exactly what I did. I'm getting to the stage where I'm falling all over it, and I just want to shift it and get a bit of cash for it.
Mike lives in the historic Cheshire village of Goosetree, which dates all the way back to the Middle Ages. But it's his very modern habit that's proving difficult for wife Karen.
He just keeps everything and anything because it's going to have a use one day. And you can end up moving it from house to house, to loft, and it still doesn't get a use.
A barn might be a useful feature for most of us, but for Mike, it's an excuse to take his hoarding to a whole new level.
We started using the barn, well, when we were doing the pub up, and I didn't really intend to use it for that long, but it just came in really convenient. All the stuff that I'd had from a child and other stuff that I just thought, no way I'm throwing this out, this has got to be worth a few quid. So I kept it.
A lot of his childhood is in the barn, but he's never wanted to grow up anyway. And I mean, he's 57 and he still acts like 27, so there's still a child in there somewhere.
Despite Karen's pleas, it seems Mike still can't quite bring himself to let go of his hoard.
Me and the wife have heated discussions as to why I have not thrown it away. It's in the way, can you move it? No, it works, I want to keep it.
And while Karen's been thinking about what to do if they manage to sell the collection of clutter,
In an ideal world, I'd like to use the money to go towards the barn conversion.
Mike's got other ideas.
I'd rather change the rear suspension on my car and get a few trim bits for my bike.
Can I get Mike to finally grow up and get rid of his hoard once and for all? I've sent antiques and collectibles expert Paul Hayes along to give Mike a hand with clearing his clutter. Hopefully he'll unearth a few treasures too.
Karen? Hello. This is a barn of yours, is that right?
Yeah. I've got a lot of stuff in there that I haven't seen or used for ages.
It's been a while, but I do know there's stamp collections, coin collections, gallery
Oh, right.
collections, all sorts, pictures, boxes full of junk.
Right, OK, well, that's exactly what I like.
It's not junk.
Oh, there we go. It's not junk, you're right. I mean, what's one person's rubbish is another person's treasure.
Yeah.
Well, it's a great old place. How old is the place?
302.
302.
Yeah.
So there could literally be anything up here.
Junk, carpentry stuff, fitness stuff.
Who's the hoarder then? Who's actually acquired all this stuff?
That's me. It's stuff that I've collected for donkey's years from being a DJ, stuff that I've inherited and stuff that I've bought.
Matchbox. Who collected all these then?
Me. I've got some foreign ones, I've got all sorts, but, you know, stuff that they don't even exist anymore.
This is classed as, it's quite a posh term, it's called ephemera. And it's items that were designed to have a short lifetime and to be discarded.
Yeah.
And there are big collectors for these things, because what they do, they give you a little insight into what life was like in the 1960s. You know, a lot of them have sort of pictures on. And look at that!
The big ones.
That's as long as like
Now,
Gulliver's
that
Travels.
definitely came from Grandad Garney, that.
So Grandad Garnett, he was a smoker as well.
He
was
smoked the pipe, yeah.
Right, OK, that's really interesting, isn't it? So that would be as a 10-year-old kid or even younger?
Well, even younger, yeah.
Right.
I knew you had a collection, but I've never seen them.
I mean,
in all these years of
look
moving
at, you
them
know,
from house to house, I've never actually seen them.
These are great selling chairs now because they're called bentwoods.
Yeah,
They're really popular around about the turn of the century. But if you're wanting to open like a Parisian-style cafe, you know, that sort of period, these are fantastic selling items.
Yeah, yeah.
And you've
Sell
got
those and then buy some new ones.
They are, yeah. Why not?
I'll have to think about that.
You're looking, you know, between £10 and £20 a chair. You know, depending on the conditions. If you got 1, 2, 3, you must have 50 or so in here. You could have quite a lot of money, you know.
They're there, they're quite comfortable, so I can't see the point in buying any more when they need to do the same job.
Yeah, no, but these are extra ones. We don't need them, and then we'll revamp the restaurant and refurnish and put it a new style.
Well, they take a lot of space up. OK, you win.
Cheers.
Again.
So, yes, you can put those on
I
your
find
tick
it
list.
easier to agree, you know.
Yeah, you come round to where we're thinking.
Yeah.
But I think what we need to do is to clear a bit of space and try and find somewhere we can put some of this stuff so we can sort through it.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll tell you what I'll do. I've got a pile of great lads out there that's going to give us a hand to do that.
OK.
All right, and if you can give them a hand as well, I'll put a kettle on. All right?
You don't know where it is.
Well, I'll find it. It's over here somewhere.
Mike now needs to start sorting through his barn-based hoard. But even with Karen there as the voice of reason,
Happy Christmas.
I have a feeling it's not going to be easy. Coming up, emotions are running high for Nick and Elizabeth.
Possibly sing it for the last time.
I'm quite emotional about it, actually, now I've seen it.
Such a life.
And a blast from the past leaves Mike unimpressed.
Love letter from my ex-boyfriend. Shall I keep it?
Bin it.
Earlier on Storage Hoarders, we met Nick Martin and his wife Elizabeth. Nick spent nearly £12,000 storing his late parents' possessions. After overcoming cancer, Nick's now ready to clear the decks and make some money for his children.
I think that should go.
OK.
And pub landlord Mike Garnett wants cash to spend on his various motors, but has filled his barn with so much clutter that it's driving wife Karen to despair.
I mean, do you really need all these?
They come in handy when you're working outside gardening.
Oh, dear me.
Later, our antiques experts will be helping our hoarders to pick out anything of value they can take to auction and reclaim some space or the cash they've spent on storage. To help our hoarders clear out their stuff, I want them to split their possessions into categories. Keep it for the really sentimental pieces, skip it for anything old, broken or just plain awful, or sell it for the items they think could be of value. I've also added a charity pile onto which they can put anything that's too good to chuck. It's time for our storage hoarders to get tough with their stuff. They've got just 3 hours to sort through their possessions. And so our hoarders can see exactly what they're dealing with, I've arranged for some help moving their items to a larger space. Now all their stuff has been moved out, we can see how their hoards stack up. Nick's is full of furniture left by his late parents, while Mike seems to have an Aladdin's cave. Well, a barn full of childhood collectibles. It's time to get sorting.
It's like an antique shop.
Fantastic, yes.
For Nick and Elizabeth, the memories are already flooding back.
One's seeing it again, and yet one's sort of up to a point possibly seeing it for the last time, you know, as in one's own possession.
I'm quite emotional about it, actually, now I've seen it, because it's such a happy home where she lived. Cool.
Yeah, it was. It was a
Reminds
very,
me of the
you
children
know,
when they were young,
yeah.
and, you know, lovely time, so.
Everything fitted him so beautifully, you know, but now it's had to be undone, and that's such a life.
I've never seen, I had this first.
And there's another poignant reminder of Nick's past.
Locomotives.
Oh, look at that. Isn't that beautiful?
And all this stuff was, you know, the platforms and things. I think they were actually assembled by my late father. He had tremendous joy leading up to Christmas when it was going to be my Christmas present with my uncle, my late uncle, who would come over and they would go upstairs and assemble it all. Isn't that amazing?
Well, so Nick and Elizabeth don't lose track. I think it's time for me to go in.
What's going on here? What's this? Oh, it's the body of the grandfather clock. Oh, my goodness. Another piece in pristine condition.
We do think we can find a home for that, actually. So.
Does it keep good time?
I think it did,
I
by
think
and
your
large.
mother had it regularly
It was regularly serviced. So
every year or something.
yeah.
But there's a handsome chap that soon catches my eye.
Ooh, what can you tell me about this?
The soldier. I can remember he was positioned in the dining room at the house. He always seemed to be looking
At you.
At you.
Looking at you.
Which was very off-putting when you're eating your meal.
I'm intrigued with that painting, so I've sent Nick to meet art expert and dealer of 25 years, Drew McMillan. Perhaps he'll make Nick an offer.
Nice to see you. Thank you so much for seeing me today. Who he is, quite honestly, I don't know, actually.
You know, it's reasonably elegant portrait. The sitter is unidentified, and indeed there's not much indication from his outfit, whether it's military or whether it's English or whether it's a casual outfit.
If you want to buy art as an investment, unless you're an international art collector with plenty of cash to flash, it's difficult to know where to start. The Victorians were keen art lovers, and it's still possible to find quality 19th century work relatively cheaply. But whatever era takes your fancy, it's always worth looking through galleries, art fairs and auctions to get a sense of the market and keep an eye out for up-and-coming names too.
It was obviously framed this way some stage after it was painted with that gold mount. There doesn't appear to be any signature at all on the painting.
No, no.
So from all fronts, basically, it's just lacking in identification. It was probably painted maybe around 1930, 1935, something like that.
Really?
So it hasn't a lot of value, but we would be prepared to make an offer on it, which...
What do you think?
Well, £300 that's the kind of way that we would sort of see, see the value to give us maybe a marginal profit on it.
We could shake on that.
OK.
Yeah.
All right, you're happy with that?
Well done,
good.
sir. Thank you
I'm
very
glad
much
you're
indeed.
happy.
So that really went quite well, actually. Very informative. And I was very, very, very happy to do a deal with these gentlemen. So good. No, I enjoyed it.
While Nick heads back to his unit, in Cheshire it's curtain up for Mike and his collection of clutter.
Oh, wow. I didn't realise we got so much stuff, love. Sweet stamp collecting, isn't it? That'll sell, that will. Somebody be well interested in that.
I'm going to be really sad and keep this.
No.
Yes.
We've got to get rid of the chairs, haven't we?
Yeah.
I agreed with that.
I'm sure.
Oh, my God. Can you get one of them for me?
I think Mike's hair-raising hoard could do with a second opinion.
Have you gone mad there, Michael?
Oh, I'm getting there, mate. It's taking me back to my kids' childhood, never mind mine.
Now, I've noticed here you've got hundreds of records. I mean, are you a DJ, you say?
Yeah. Started in 1970.
1970. So this is a standard 45, so this would play at 45 RPM.
Yeah, that's been on jukebox hours, that's why no middle in it, yeah. But the real ones are the 78s, the plate ones. I had Jailhouse Rock, Elvis Presley, my mate sat on it.
This actual vinyl's not that bad, but the old brittle 78s were a nightmare, weren't they?
I mean, they make great for skimming. Frisbees.
I'd love to come to one of your discos. So can these go, or are they staying?
No, they can go now.
And Paul soon spies every boy's must-have plaything, a bag of toy cars.
Now, I think these are ace. Now, were these yours as a kid?
Yeah, they were. You'll find I oil painted some of them.
You actually... Really, you painted them up yourself?
Devalued them, but...
The very early Dinky toys didn't have any glass. We weren't able to make this sort of perspex. So sometimes you'll find one. Yeah, that's one there.
Yeah, that's an early
without
one.
its glass.
Yeah.
What I love about them, they're all iconic vehicles of the 60s, aren't they?
Yeah, and of course now they'd all be plastic, wouldn't they?
Now that's your Munich motorway. So this is like an early form of slot car.
Yeah.
Isn't it? So
I had two little hand controllers.
Can you remember using these then?
Oh yeah, a lot. And you get me and my mate there. You know, he's coming around to play or something. I've got a spare hour when I wasn't that old. We'd get this going, have races and bomb round and round in them.
Well, it's good to see Paul spotted some potential items for auction, but Karen seems a little distracted.
Shall I keep that, Mike? Love letter from my ex-boyfriend. Shall I keep it?
Bin it.
Karen, ring me at 12 noon and say, let's get together again. No. Because I dumped him. 1987, so it would have been 86.
You better not have been seeing him and me.
Yeah, do you want to see a picture of him?
No.
It seems as one hoard Mike is more than willing to dump.
Bin, letters, cards, ex-boyfriend. Been with me 27 years. Still got them. Unbelievable. Goodbye.
Meanwhile, Karen's discovered some items that are quite irreplaceable.
Oh, now then, Karen, look at this. Oh, these are all memories, aren't they? So who do these belong to, then?
These are William's.
Oh, but how old's William now?
William's 11 now.
Did you look at the size? He's tiny, wasn't he?
Very. It's so cute, aren't they? I don't really want to get rid of this because I had it made for my eldest. I'd like to keep it and try and pass it down if I can.
But I must admit, I'm really impressed. Your keep pile
There's a few old photographs.
Oh, look at that. Those are
The
great.
daffodils.
I mean, what about this? Do you think?
No, that's part of the pub.
Oh, is it?
Well, Paul's keen, that's for sure, but time is finally up for our hoarders. Mike and Karen have loads of collectibles on their sell pile. Meanwhile, Nick's keeping nothing and selling a showroom's worth of furniture. The next step is to find out if there's any real value in the items they want to sell. Coming up, some surprise news leaves Nick and Elizabeth reeling.
The piano's worth 30 quid.
Oh, Nick.
But are things looking up when they get to auction?
400 it sells.
I'm here to help our two stockpilers in distress get strict with their stash when I ask them to keep it, skip it, or sell it. The question now is, do they have anything of value in their piles? Nick's been storing a unit full of his parents' furniture for the past 7 years. He was given an impressive valuation of $61,000 for it just after his mother died. Tom Keane has over 2 decades of experience in the world of antiques and collectibles. Will he have some more good news for Nick?
Your furniture spans about 200 years, 250 years in ages. We're going to start with a nice-sized cabinet, 1980s, 1990s, not much older than that. Reproduction, unfortunately, a £50 cabinet. There's another bit of bad news, the piano.
Oh, the piano.
People just don't want them, especially once a repolish. The piano's worth 30 quid.
Oh, Nick.
Oh dear, that's not a great start. Maybe some of the older pieces will get a better valuation.
The little Georgian work table there. But there's a bad break on the leg. It's a pity, because I can tell it's Georgian, Georgia third period, would have been 250, 350 pounds in perfect condition. With that break in the leg, 30 or 40 pounds.
Oh.
This is so disappointing for Nick, seeing his mum's treasured possessions having such low value.
The chest of drawers, that's not a bad model. It's got a lacquered finish, and there's only one man I know that does that. Some people will say it's devalued it, some people like it. It's Victorian trying to be Georgian, and it's worth £200 or £300.
Right. More encouraging.
Is that really 1686?
That period is dead right. 1686, Charles II just died, James II was on the throne. There were some initials here carved. Whoever bought it throughout the centuries didn't like those initials and took them off, and that's why it looks a bit out of proportion from this side to this side. It's been lacquered. Now, you don't lacquer oak. It's got a lacquer finish on it, see?
Yeah, absolutely.
Another massive problem with it. If you look here, can you see a little stain there?
Oh, yes.
A blacksmith somewhere has been asked to repair this cupboard, so he's done it the cheapest possible way by making the best, strongest hinges, but he's lost his value in the hinges. So it would have been worth £1,000 to £1,500. It's now worth £300 or £400. The trains, there's quite a few in the box over there. These are probably 1960s. Triang, not a bad factory. It's not worth a lot of money. That's the best way of saying it. Right, it's, you've got quite a lot over there. If you've got £150 a lot, you'd be doing well.
Right.
The better train sets are pre-war. They're the ones that are really collectible.
Right, OK.
This is a Georgian chest on chest. It's got a lovely flame. You see the flame running through the mahogany there? But those feet are wrong, so it's been worked on. Anybody knowing their onions walking towards that chest will go...
Bad feet.
Bad feet. We know that chest is dated 1790 to 1830 by the handles. We know that's the period they were invented, not before that. Because it's still so pretty, it's still worth £500 to £800. Had it been all original, I'd have been saying £1,000 to £1,500. Even after all that bad news, I've done a quick tot-up going round. You've still got the best part of £1,500 here.
Well, sadly, it looks like Nick was way off the mark with the value of that furniture. But let's see what happens when we get to auction. The items we'll be taking include a Victorian chest of drawers valued at £200 to £300, that Jacobean court cupboard at £300 to £400, with an impressive estimate of £500 to £800 is a Georgian chest on chest. Another Georgian piece in the shape of this circular supper table is estimated at a modest £50 to £60. And let's hope Nick's collection of trains builds up a decent head of steam at auction with an estimate of £100 to £150. But there's one other thing that's caught Tom's eye.
This radiogram, I think 1940s, possibly even 1950s. These really sound good, so we can find a vintage specialist for this and see if we can get a decent price and more information.
To find out more about the radiogram, Tom takes Nick to meet Philip Dennis at Europe's biggest film and TV prop hire company. Although not usually open to the public, they supply props to well-known shows such as Downton Abbey and Poirot, which means Philip's always looking for vintage pieces. Let's hope he'll make Nick an offer.
What you see here is a Dynatron. It was set up by two brothers, Ron and Arthur Hacker, in 1927. They went for the high-end market. Yeah. As you see, this is walnut finish with timber doors. It's always done with the highest quality veneers. Just very nice pieces of furniture.
So, Phil, how old do you think this model is?
Yeah, I think between 40s and 50s. It's a fair bet.
After the war, the materials weren't there, but the cabinet makers only knew the Art Deco. They've been through turmoil of a war, and so they still continued until really about the 60s before the fashion started changing again.
Right,
so.
OK.
There was a time when the radiogram was a must-have in every home, and there's still a small but keen community of collectors and enthusiasts who want to find the best surviving examples. Some of the pre-war models had beautiful workmanship, and to the right buyers, who have the space to keep them, they can be worth a couple of £100. So what about Nick's radiogram?
And did you use it every day? Was it a family piece?
Yes, indeed. It was used every day, I would say. It fitted very nicely into a corner of my parents' drawing room.
As vinyl gets more fashionable, people will look to get a nice record deck, whereas everything modern nowadays is plastic. You could end up with a really nice walnut cabinet, which is a piece of furniture with some history.
Phil, are you interested in buying this?
We'd be interested in buying it for £50, certainly.
I think probably I could be interested at that price, certainly. Yeah, definitely.
And you never know, you might see it on television.
Well, let's shake on it then, Phil.
Pleasure. Thank you, Nick.
And thank you very much. I had no idea what was going to happen, I'm quite honest about that, but I think this is a very satisfactory outcome, and I'm well happy with it.
Well, Nick seems pleased with his £50, but now it's time for him to see the rest of his stash go under the hammer at auction.
So auction time now, but you've already made £350, haven't you?
Yeah, it's like shock horror, but I sort of got the feeling that on both the items in question, that I should take them up.
And are you in the mood for this auction today?
Yes, very interested, yes, really up for it.
Tell me about the item that you're most excited about.
From my childhood, I suppose my train set will be. What happens to that will be of interest, or whether that goes or not.
And Liz, what about if some items were left unsold today?
It would be disappointing if items were left unsold, because we'd have to put them back in storage again.
Liz, have you thought about the figure that you'd like to walk away with today?
Well, I know when Tom valued things that came to, well, amongst other things, it did only come to about 1,500. But it'd be nice if there was somebody out there who actually was keen to pick up one of the items and the price went up a bit.
Wish you all the best.
Thank you very much indeed, Heidi. Thank you.
Well, that would be nice. Let's hope the right bidders have turned up today. But what does auctioneer William Rouse think?
Nick has got predominantly furniture. There are some good items of furniture and some perhaps slightly less exciting items of furniture. There is quite an interesting court cupboard, which is a nice colour, and that's very important with oak, which is what it's made out of, and I think that will sell well.
Well, this auction seems a difficult one to predict, so let's see what happens when the hammer falls.
Let it go, bring him on.
First up is that 19th century mahogany chest of drawers, estimated at £200 to £300.
Straight in at £260.
Be at 260, 270, 280, 290,
300, 310, I've got to take 320.
330 in the roost.
420 is the next bid.
120 is the next bid. OK.
£400 here it is. Anybody else? 400 it sells.
Happy?
Very happy.
Phew, that's a relief. £400 is a great start and well above our upper estimate. At £300 to £400, will the bidders go quite as high for the Jacobean court cupboard?
Start me, couple of £100 to go. Cheap for 200, I'm bid.
200, 210, 220, 230, 240.
240, I'm bid.
250, I'm bid. 260, 270, 280.
£300 on the telephone. £300 on the telephone, anybody else? It can go then for £300.
OK.
OK.
All right. 300.
Well, at least it managed to reach its lower estimate of 300, so that's a decent result. Nick's childhood trains are up next. He's put a reserve of £125 on them. I really hope they sell.
100, 110, 120. £120 is bid, 130 with me. Sorry, 120 rather with me, 130 I'll take. At £120. 120.
Oh dear, it seems no one wanted to catch Nick's trains today. Not sold. Will the Georgian supper table fare any better at a modest £50 to £60?
£30 to start me for the table. Nice colour to it. Bid 30, 32, 35. Yeah.
Somebody wants it.
50. £50 here. At £50, I'm going to sell it for 50.
So only sold it for 50.
210.
Well, we won't be dining out on that result, but £50 is still a good amount. We're staying in the Georgian period for our final lot, that handsome chest-on-chest estimated at £500 to £800.
If I'm straight in at £400, 420 is the next bid. We'll be at 400, 420, 440. 440 is bid. Against me, £460. You all done, 460.
OK. 460.
Well, it might be below the lowest estimate, but it's another £460 to add to our haul. A good end to the day.
So that was a bit of a mixed bag there, wasn't it? It was like up, down, up,
Absolutely,
down.
yes.
Well, the very large pieces that you wanted to go, they did go, and they went for good prices, didn't they?
I would agree with that, yes, they definitely did, you know, so it was not all bad.
So today at auction, minus commission, Nick's made over £1,100. Add the painting and the radiogram he sold, and that gives him a grand total of £1,450.
That's a healthy sum, isn't it?
It is.
The train set, Nick. What's the plan for the train set now?
A little bit disappointed about my train set, but anyway, I think we'll see what occurs on that one.
And what's happening with the piano?
Oh, well, I am asking around to see if anybody's interested in a very cheap piano.
So you a good way towards emptying?
So then it's nearly empty.
Nearly empty.
Nearly empty.
So the £1,500 odd that you've made, any plans for this?
Maybe for the children, maybe a little sort of handout for them, I think would be in order. I really think this is seriously, a very positive result.
I'm so pleased we've been able to help you. I really am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you indeed.
After overcoming cancer, Nick decided it was time to face the hoard left by his late parents. It's brought back lots of memories, but it's also given Nick the chance to look ahead to a future clear of clutter. Here's to many more years of storage-free music making. Still to come, a plethora of puns proves too painful.
You have to have a lot of bottle.
Yeah. You're milking this a bit now, aren't you?
And at auction, it's good riddance to one unwelcome item.
Well, they were taking quite a big space up, so I'm quite happy with that.
Earlier, music man Nick sold a hoard of his late parents' furniture and made a grand total of £1,450 to share with his family. Now it's the turn of pub landlord Mike Garnett and his wife Karen. Mike had a barn full of stuff, but now he's managed to skip a load of it, leaving the best items to go to auction.
I'm exhausted.
Antiques and collectibles expert Paul Hayes has been helping Mike identify the pieces that could really help him make some money.
What's actually give you the impetus to do that now? I mean, how come it's taken so long to actually go?
The wife. There's actually a lot more stuff than I recall being up there, but everything that's here, I remember now because it's brought all the old memories back of when I was a kid.
Well, I must admit, this is a fantastic sell pile. You know, there's a great mix of items, but you've got a little lot there of the 66 motorcycle magazines there. It's nostalgia. Anybody that had a bike in the 70s, it's just great stuff. You know, you're 17 years old again, and people love to see that. So I put those in at between £30 and £50 as a lot. You've got some dinky toys there.
Yeah.
But this is actually quite a good collection. And they're almost like classic cars now, you know. So they all date from the 60s. So were they all yours as a kid then?
From memory, some of them were actually second-hand.
Right,
but,
OK.
And they were just passed down.
That little lot now, today's value, you're approaching £100.
Yeah.
You're looking sort of 60 to 100 quid.
Yeah.
And, of course, the train set, it's a model of the Flying Scotsman. This dates about the 1950s. But a great set. It's boxed, it's mint. There's some more Meccano sets here as well. So that little lot is sort of £60 to £100 on that lot.
Yeah,
All right. And then you've got your slot racing. OK, so these are interesting. I mean, I don't think they're as collectible as the sort of the modern slot cars.
Yeah.
But, of course, with them being sort of 1950s, 60s, there is a market out there for them. So that little lot, maybe £20 or £30. And then it's a lovely big lump of copper, but what is it?
It's actually phosphor bronze, I think. That.
Is it? Right.
Yeah.
Well,
and we had 4 of them when I was on the farm. That would take the milk off an average cow on 1 milk.
So the milk
a
will
day.
go straight into this?
Straight into that,
Okay.
and then take the tankard into the dairy,
Right.
and then the milkman would come up the next morning and pick them all up and take them away.
So do you remember using one of these?
Oh, yeah.
So when you're on the farm, you used
It's
to
4 gallon in there, and that weighs probably 55 pounds. And I used to have to go like that, put them down, because it was a nightmare.
If you hadn't told me all that, I would put that in at sort of £50 to £80, to be honest.
No, it's worth a lot more than that.
Well, let's... do you wanna...
By all means, put it in the auction, but we'll put a reserve on it.
You have to have a lot of bottle.
Yeah.
It's amazing what you churn up these days.
Oh, definitely. You're milking this a bit now, aren't you?
Soon stop there.
Calm down, boys. So among Mike's items we're going to take to auction are that collection of dinky toys which could race out of the sale room at £60 to £100, another boyhood collection in the shape of the Meccano items and train set, also estimated at £60 to £100, the slot car racing set at £20 to £30. Paul also found a set of stamps estimated at £40 to £60. Mike's Matchbox collection could strike lucky at £20 to £40. And with an estimate of £120 to £200, will those 50s copper milk churns prove the cream of the crop for the bidders?
Now, tell me about this fantastic motorcycle. Look at that. Was this yours, Karen?
No, definitely not mine.
I've got this. A guy in the village had it. He's had it for about 30 years.
And it's in great condition. But there's one thing I like about it, and there's one thing I think we need to check, is actually the registration.
Yeah.
Now, that's got a great 3-digit registration, MTU and a number. What we need to do is to try and check out that number plate to see whether there's any value there to transfer onto another vehicle.
Paul's asked vehicle registration expert Peter Johnson along for the lowdown on Mike's plate and to see if he'll make an offer.
Michael does want to sell this bike, but we've called you in for the number plate because I know that you specialise in personalised registrations.
That's right.
And what sort of thing do you look for? Do you look for initials? Do you look for words? I mean, what sort of thing would people
The most popular at the moment is people looking for initials.
So this just has 3 numbers and 3 letters?
That's called a dateless number plate, which is very popular at the moment because people are wanting to hide the age of their vehicles.
Vehicle registration started in 1903, but it wasn't until the early 60s that plates began to include the year. But it's number plates with single letters and numbers that fetch the highest prices. The first ever registration number, A1, is currently owned by the Sultan of Brunei's brother and is worth over £1 million. I wonder what numbers Mike could be looking at for his plate.
So I take it it's not just initials then. Looking at this, you've made words here. I mean, United, I mean, they must be very sought after things.
The United one, very popular. Obviously, all the football clubs out there, Man United, West Ham United, etc. Ideal number plate for any of the fans there.
So which one out of these would you like, Karen?
I'd probably go for the devil one, to be honest.
These are also really expensive and very popular. 2 letters and the number 1. That's looking at around £200,000.
Wow, that's amazing. When it comes to Michael's, I mean, are we anywhere in that ballpark there, Peter?
Unfortunately not, but it is still worth money. That particular number, I would say, is going to be worth between £500 and £700.
So how do you feel about sort of between 500 and 700, Mike?
7 would be acceptable. I'd go for that, no problem.
Right.
It's got the 3 initials on there, so I'd need to have a look as to how popular those initials are in order to maximise the return on it.
So I think what you need to do is to be in contact in a few days and let us know how you get on. I mean, how does that sound?
That sounds excellent.
I think you should shake hands.
OK, all right. Thank you very much. Cheers.
I think Michael is willing to sell that plate between 500 and 700. And don't forget, you'll have the bike left as well. So potentially he has over £1,000 there just in that old motorcycle.
Karen is definitely going to be happy because she didn't know why I bought it in the first place, but I just saw a potential earner. And if I can do the deal, then I'll be the happiest chappie in the world.
Well, fingers crossed for Mike's number plate, but now it's time to head to auction to see how the rest of his lots do when they go under the hammer.
Do you have reserves on anything here?
Just the milk churns, because my mum's friend, because they're all farmers, has sold one for 200 quid, so I put £200 reserve on each one of them.
What have you got high hopes for today?
Probably the milk churns, the train sets, and the stamps.
Have you got an idea in your head how much you want to make today?
I would think we should just do 4 figures, just...
4 figures?
Yeah. About £1,000.
OK.
Mike's certainly thinking big, but what does auctioneer Addison Gelpie think of his lots?
He's got quite a few dinky toys, you know, there's no Type 1s in there, which make about £1,000, £2,000. I had a good old look. They need to be boxed as well to make the proper money. But he's got a nice large collection. We've put them in at 60 to 80. They should be OK. He's got a collection of matchboxes as well, which if somebody's got a bit of interest there, then, you know, hopefully they could make £20, £30. His interesting lots that I saw, the milk churns are really nice, unusual ones as well, with the sort of taps at the top, which are quite rare. Yeah, they're nice things, so we'll see how we do.
So if you do make a 4-figure sum today, I'm sure you've got a plan for the money, have you, Karen? What is it?
Probably spending money for the children on holiday.
Well, fingers crossed you make your money. Good luck.
Well, the first hammer is about to fall on Mike's mixed box of childhood Meccano with a 50s train set thrown in, estimated at £60 to £100 for the lot.
I have a bid here of £15. Any advance on 15? At £15, 20 now in the room. At £20, I'm out your in. Any advance on 20? I'm going to sell to you, sir, at £20.
What's sad about that?
Who's on the small set?
Lot 52.
Well, I'm glad Mike's being positive, and that's £20 in the kitty at least. Next up is that slot car racing set, estimated at £20 to £30.
I have interest here again, a bid of £15. Any advance on 15? £20, I'm going to sell at £20.
It was nearly going in the bin, that was.
Was it nearly going in the bin?
Well, I'm glad they didn't go in the bin, because £20 is a good result. Could the bidders be revving up for some serious buying? A collection of vintage motorcycle magazines, perhaps?
£20 somewhere. 10. Take a look, there to go.
Not sold, not sold. OK.
It seems there are no easy riders here today, so fingers crossed for Mike's stamps, estimated at £40 to £60.
I'll start the bidding at 50. Any advance on £50? Is any advance on 50? I'm going to sell at £50. Fair and final warning. Sold for 50.
Is that all right?
Better, yeah, but it's happy, yeah.
Yeah, good, good, good.
£50 is right in the middle of the estimate yet again. Time for those 50s milk churns to make an appearance. But has Mike buttered up the bidders with his reserve of £400?
Should we start the bidding here at £200 somewhere? At 200. 180 then.
It's interesting.
150. No. I'm going to have to pass this. Take a look. Thank you very much. Unsold.
I know they're worth £200 each anyway.
Yeah, you know you can get that.
At least Mike's looking on the bright side. Talking of which, at £20 to £30, let's hope his collection of matchboxes sparks a bit of interest.
I've got a maiden bid of £20 here. Any advance on 20? Any advance on 20? No warning at 20.
Well, they were taking quite a big space.
£20.
Quite happy with that.
Quite happy for them to go.
Good for you. Time for that final lot, Mike's boyhood collection of dinky toys with an estimate of £60 to £100.
70 with me, a multitude of bids. And 5 on the internet, 80 back with me. 80 back with me. Any advance on 80? Any advance on 80? I'm going to sell at £80. Fair warning, internet, at £80 on the book. Sold at 80.
Well, who'd have thought it? Those dinkies raced past the finish line at an impressive £80. A great end to the day.
So it was quite a good result in the end, really, wasn't it?
Give me space, that's what I needed.
Exactly. Anything surprise you?
The dinky toys.
Really?
Yeah, I did not expect those to go for that amount.
Very
I
surprised.
expected probably about £20, £30, but 80, really good.
Yeah.
Very impressed
I was
with
happy
that.
with that.
And you've got someone that you know who might take the milk churns from you,
Yeah, I
is that
think
right?
a colleague of my mum's or a friend of my mum's, she just sold one for 200 quid. And so that's obviously the current value. That's why I put the reserve on.
Yeah, quite right.
Well, after commission, Mike made a modest £184 at auction. But he did decide to sell his bike number plate for £500, bringing his final total to £684. Not bad at all.
So that's a nice little amount towards the holiday.
Yeah, definitely.
But more importantly, you've got all that living space back.
Yes.
Which is the best thing, surely.
Oh, definitely, definitely.
So it's not a great deal of money, but it's been a good day and I've loved it.
So your clutter days are over, do you think?
Yeah, yeah. I'm not going to collect anything anymore. Apart from maybe the odd motorcycle.
No, no. Definitely not.
It's been good fun with Mike and Karen. After bulking out their barn with stuff, he's managed to clear it all and make some money to go towards a family holiday.
Working space. It's just something that should have been done years ago, but it wasn't.
Here's hoping Mike's hoarding days are finally over.
Join me, Aggie Mackenzie, next time on Storage Hoarders.